When I was 14, my mother, my anchor, my confidant, my only true parent passed away. Her death shattered me, but what cut deeper was how fast my father moved on. Less than 2 months after her passing, he was already seeing someone new. By 4 months, she was living in our house. 9 months later, on my birthday, they announced their engagement, calling it a gift for me. That was the breaking point. I shoved the cake to the floor and stormed out. I vanished for days, long enough for them to consider filing a missing person report. Eventually, I had to return. When I did, it was as if my mother had never existed. Her photos, her clothes, her essence, erased. They forbade me from honoring her birthday or even speaking her name. Worst of all, they demanded I call her, his new wife, Mom. I refused. Every time I used her first name, they ignored me. She presented herself as my mother to strangers, and I corrected her every time. Eventually, I stopped engaging with her unless it was unavoidable. By 16, I had perfected silence, going 2 weeks without speaking to either of them. My father was enraged, accusing me of destroying our family. What family? By 18, I left for college and never looked back. I kept minimal contact with my father and none with his wife. I built my own life. At 21, I got engaged to a woman who understood my pain and supported my distance from them. But somehow they found out. His wife posted online proclaiming herself the proud mother of the groom and eagerly awaiting grandmotherhood. I shut it down immediately. I posted a brief statement. I am not her son. She will never be a grandmother to my children. My father called me ungrateful. I told him my only mother died when I was 14, and so did he in my eyes. After that, I cut contact again. Then things escalated. At 24, with my wife 8 months pregnant, they showed up at our home. I hadn't shared our address. They claimed they wanted to mend things. I closed the door in their faces, but they didn't stop. They bought a house nearby, just 5 minutes away. Suddenly, they were everywhere, grocery stores, malls, even a gas station miles from home. It wasn't coincidence. We discovered the source. My brother-in-law, my wife's sister's husband, had been sharing details about us, thinking he was helping. When we confronted him, he crumbled. My sister-in-law left him that night. They later divorced. I tried for a restraining order, but without physical threats, the police couldn't act. So I had my lawyer draft a legal notice declaring they were not my family, not welcome near my home, wife, or child, and that further contact would lead to legal action. It was delivered with proof of receipt. The stress overwhelmed me. I had my first panic attack. My wife, despite her pregnancy, held me through it. Then our child was born. Holding my baby shifted everything. I understood true love and vowed to protect my family. But my father and his wife found out about the birth. They showed up at the hospital. I still don't know how they knew. Thankfully, the staff turned them away. After that, it became a relentless chase. No matter where we went, they appeared. The police still deemed them non-threatening. I saw one solution. We moved. Relocating with a newborn was grueling, but my in-laws helped us settle quickly. For now, I feel free. Yet I'm always glancing behind me, knowing my past lingers too closely. It had been some time since we settled into our new home, a larger property with more space, though it needed work. It was safe for our baby, and with our tight-knit circle's help, we were making it ours. I handled nearly all the renovations myself, pouring my energy into crafting a future for my family. Since the move, my father and his wife had stayed out of my life. That changed 2 weeks ago. My lawyer reached out, saying my father wanted to meet. I refused at first, but my lawyer urged me to consider it, suggesting it could be important. Reluctantly, I agreed to a public meeting. We arrived early at a cafe, only to find them already there. My wife and I went alone, though a paralegal from my lawyer's office sat nearby, discreetly observing. Their faces fell when they saw we hadn't brought our child. The conversation started with strained pleasantries. I had no patience for it. "What do you want?" I asked bluntly. My father exhaled heavily and explained. His health was declining. He had at most 2 years left. They showed me medical documents, scans, reports, proof his time was short. I listened quietly, but inside I felt nothing. It was like hearing about a distant acquaintance's illness, someone I once knew but no longer cared for. My wife's hand on my arm kept me steady as my irritation grew. When they finished, I said, "I'm sorry you're going through this. I hope you recover." Then I stood to leave. His wife spoke up. "That's all, you owe him more than that." I didn't let her continue. Years of suppressed rage poured out. I told my father he owed me, for erasing my mother, for neglecting me, for punishing me unfairly, for abandoning me emotionally. I ended with words I'd carried for years. My real mother died when I was 14. Act like I died then too, because that's when you cease to exist for me. They sat there, stunned, unable to respond. My wife, barely 54, gently pulled me, a 63, 200-plus-pound man, away before I said more. She led me to the car. Once inside, the weight of it all crashed down. I had my second panic attack. My wife held me until I could breathe again. Since then, it's been silent. No contact, no further attempts at reconciliation. The wounds are still raw. I struggle, sometimes losing myself in thought. But my wife knows how to pull me back. She places our child in my arms. In those moments, nothing else matters. I'm no longer the broken teenager yearning for a father's love. I'm a father, a husband, a protector. My past will not shape my future. What I've learned, family isn't defined by blood, it's built on loyalty. Boundaries mean nothing to those who don't respect you. Some people will never change. You don't owe anyone forgiveness. Your true family is the one you choose. Am I safe now? I hope so.